Welcome back to another match preview as Nottingham Forest will host Manchester United this weekend. And it is my great pleasure to introduce the most famous YouTuber, one of my favorites there is Flex. How are you, Flex, from United View?
You're too kind before you say what you really think, mate, about how this game is going to go. You're too kind. You're too kind. But no, big up, man. It's always a pleasure
Yep.
to be. I'm a bit nervous this time, a bit more nervous than last time.
Yeah, well, that fills me with joy. And I love you, Flex. I hate your club, but it's an absolute honor. And guys, go check out United View. The link is in the title. Make sure you show them some love, because if we beat them, let's go give them hell. How you feeling, bro? Because it's been a bit of a choppy season for Man United so far. Up and down, a few false dawns. Are you where you were expecting?
No, no, and a little bit choppy to say the least. Is you being nice. That's an understatement. We've been absolutely awful this season for large parts. You know, some little good bits, couple of good wins here or there, but we don't score enough goals. We look like we don't have a style of play. You're wondering what the plan is. There's change going on upstairs. It's a mess. There's so much going on at Man United, and we're always one game away from crisis. We've had some embarrassing defeats, and rightly so, being heavily criticised for that. And you never know what sort of Man United is going to turn up. But then, actually, if you are a betting man and you're going to predict what sort of Man United will turn up, you will probably go with the crap one, the one that could get rolled over, the one that can lose. So, and that's no different to this. And whenever we do have a bit of a positive result, it never is usually enough to fill you with confidence as a United fan going into the next game to say that's been put right. Now we can go forward and do X or do Y. You can't do that as a United fan. There's been too much evidence this season that tells us you can't hang your hat on this team.
Do you feel you're a bit like Spurs from last year? Because I remember Spurs at this time last year, they weren't playing well. They picked up a few results here and there, but they kind of was still hanging up there in that top 4 or 5-ish positions. And then suddenly it came crashing down. Do you worry that's going to happen to United? Because you're not that far off the top 4, mate.
No, we're not. So that's why the season's not over. And for all of the, all of the memes and Man United in the mud, and which we are, in terms of an aspiration, City are currently sitting in 4th on 37 points and Man United on 31. So we're 6 points behind them. Obviously, City they've played a game less as well. And that top 4, if you bank on maybe Aston Villa coming out of it, which again you have to probably hope that happens. It's not even a guarantee with the way that they're going. It's going to be tough. Even West Ham are above Man United now, back-to-back great wins at the Emirates and against us. Brighton on our tails as usual. Newcastle never too far behind. So yeah, that's a really tough spot to have to come out of and try and get the top 4.
Is Ten Hag under pressure, bro? Because it's starting to feel to me a bit like what we saw with Cooper towards the end of his time. He felt like he was on a rolling 1 match game with us. Yeah. And every time you think Ten Hag's about to go, he pulls a result out and then it kind of resets the clock. But that can't be sustainable, can it?
It can't be sustainable. But in terms of him being as close to, like you're saying, Cooper was to losing his job, I'd probably say no. And the reason why I say that is because Ten Hag has things in his favour that are happening above him and around him that he's not actually in control of, and they actually need a little bit of calm. Hence why I said if we lost against Villa or we lost against Liverpool heavily, he still wouldn't have got sacked because Man United don't have a plan that right now. And right now it's about a bigger situation than just this playing team and this just coaching staff. Of course, you can always say you can get rid of the manager, but you can't get rid of 24 players. I understand that. But it will have to be a situation whereby they need to have a little bit of calm. And that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, it's like I've heard with Ineos coming in, it's probably another 4 to 6 weeks for the Premier League to ratify it. And then Jim's got, a say. So it's probably not going to happen, even if you were to lose a couple more. So I get you. The planning is not quite there.
It needs to be bigger. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. But looking on the players on the pitch, bro, I mean, you looked much improved in that second half against Villa. Do you see that still being the same team, or can you see Ten Hag making some changes going into the Forest game?
The team's changed so much in almost every single game we've played. Because of injuries, because of illness, because of Ten Hag not having a clue who his best team is, because people playing so badly. It's like it doesn't matter who plays. We haven't got the team news in yet because obviously there was no Luke Shaw
Yeah.
for the last game. So if he's back, I would suggest he plays left back. But Dalot played quite well at left back, and Wan-Bissaka I'd like to see against Hudson-Odoi. Make sure he doesn't get any joy. Kobbie Mainoo, the young kid's been excellent coming in. It's not easy. He's in an unstable team, but he's got a lot of promise, and Ten Hag showing a lot of faith in him. You know, he made a mistake at West Ham for 2-0, which obviously was his fault, but he's a young kid. I thought he might take him out the firing line against Villa, but he didn't. He kept him going again. That shows me he really believes in him. Started away at Newcastle, started away at Everton, came on and played against Galatasaray away. So he trusts him. So I'd love for him to keep playing. I expect Bruno to keep his place. I think it's too soon for people like Casemiro and Mount and these types of players to come back. Hopefully Eriksen can retain his place as well, because like you said, the quality on the ball. Garnacho's looked electric against Aston Villa. Hope he scoring 2 goals and being the match winner. Man of the match. I'm sure he'll play again. Rashford's got the bit between his teeth again. He has to keep that front three the same. But it doesn't mean it's going to perform in the same way, because like you said, your tactics are completely different to Villa. You don't play a high line. You're not as naive as Emery was to not drop off and stuff like that and put the onus on us. Because if Villa would have done that, we wouldn't have had a clue. We wouldn't have had a clue what to do. So, there could. But to answer your question, there could be a lot of changes. There could be none, because he literally
You just don't know.
not been a settle. Yeah, he's not. I don't think we've rolled out the same 11 probably more than once back to back. Can't remember it.
There's so many similarities, like obviously on the extreme scales. When I look at it, how we were under Cooper to how you are now, we didn't know what the team was going to be. We couldn't even tell the formation and everything else, bro. But kind of getting it from an outsider's perspective on Forest, what have you made of, well, firstly, the sacking? I mean, I've asked everyone this. Did you think it was the right time for him to go? And what do you think of
I can see why. Yeah. In terms of Cooper, I can see why. I didn't even realize. What did you say? Was it 1 win in 14?
Yeah.
And I didn't, as a rival fan, you kind of keep an eye on it, but you don't really deep the record. You think, oh, they'll be back, they'll get a win here, or they might have had a draw in that time, they'll be all right. But when it's no win in 14, that's very, very alarming. And I don't think it's like a knee-jerk reaction. I mean, look at the last time it was tough under Cooper the first time, and they gave him a new contract to show that solidarity, to show that, listen, you've got us here. We had a championship squad. Last year, to even stay up, we had about 100 players. We tried to the whole big influx. Forest were kind of like the meme of the league. People laugh at Chelsea for having too many players, can't fit in the dressing room. At that time, with what Forest were doing, when it was Lingard and Dennis, and you probably know way more names than I can, but they're just
you had to say Lingard, didn't you? You had to say
Lingard. Yeah, exactly. But do you know what I mean? Like, he had to go through all of that, and he still managed to keep them up, and that vote of confidence really proved dividends. And people were saying, "What Spurs? What Forest doing? Why are they doing that?" But that doesn't mean that he has to stay indefinitely and can't lose his job. And I think he just reached the natural ceiling with that squad that needed to freshen up. And the early signs leading into Nunes now would suggest that's right. You do need a bigger sample size. Trust me, I know about new manager bounces. I know all about that. Yeah, I was singing Ollie's at the wheel all the way to a new manager bounce. So, but I do think that Nuno's been disrespected because of the stint at Spurs. I mean, that lasted 10 Premier League games. He won 5 of them.
Sacked him, didn't you? You lot sacked him.
We won that famous El Sacico. Yeah, exactly. When Ollie against him, and I just think his stock fell because of that, and it's easy to forget what he's done in the game pre that at Wolves or at Porto or wherever else he's been. I think he's been Valencia, hasn't he? Before that, yeah. Good record at these places. Guys managing the Champions League, and especially again, no disrespect for Forest, but I think his lowest finish is like 13th in the league.
Yeah.
Forest to take that, bite your hand off for that now. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes it's about realigning and realigning the manager's sort of history and what they've done versus with a club who's looking to try and build or stabilize, should I say, within the Premier League. And it looks like it could be a perfectly match made in heaven for those two.
Yeah, and then looking at the players, I know you're mates with our boy ELANGA. Are you worried, mate? Is there a little bit keeping you up at night, thinking, what if?
Mate, of course he better not even think about it. And I'm going to message him that. I said, listen, don't even think about it. But of course, listen, I always wanted to do well. I always knew if he left Man United and got regular game time, he'd be fine. And I know that he's a Premier League player. He just had to find that right step and that right move for his career. And you fans have really taken to him. And I know you said on our stream there's still bits in his game that are frustrating. He's got bags of pace, bags of athleticism. I always mock him and laugh at him. He always posting up pictures, you know, with his top off, doing jumps in the gym. He's a physical specimen. He's
Yeah.
chiseled, he's cut, he's powerful, he's quick. He just needs to add those intricacies into his game where he can calm down, because he's got the rest of it. And he needs a manager who can help him do that. And I think Nuno setting up on the counter attack with an emphasis on getting it wide quickly to people like him, like Callum Hudson-Odoi,
Yeah.
and the rotation that Gibbs White can give with the service he can bring. Perfect. So yeah, I am worried, but he better have a day off. He better not think about it, mate. Need Wan-Bissaka to lock
So
him
what are
up.
you saying
Probably plays on the
scoreline?
right.
What do you think? How's this playing out?
I'm gonna remain confident. I don't know why, but I am. I'm gonna go 2-0 United. 2-0 United. Rasmus Højlund's gonna continue to score. He says, don't know why I think of that. And Marcus Rashford looked quite sharp. I think he's due a goal. I think he's going to get one against Forest. 2-0.
Bro, you're saying it with no chest, man.
No chest. No.
There's no chest, man. I mean, it's filling me.
Can't have chest against any team. Can't. Not this season.
I'm really excited by this one. Like, the guys in my comments will be like, stop jinxing it, but I can see us winning too. I'll say the same scoreline, but the other way around, man. But yeah, 11 in a row. I can't handle another L. I can't hold another one to you lot, man.
Put them back to reality. Kill the new manager. Exactly. Come on.
Exactly. Listen, Flex, I know you got a busy day ahead of you.
Thank you, bro.
It's as always an absolute honor to have you on. Guys, go check out Flex, and the link, as always, is in the title. Flex, thank you so much for coming on, bro.
Thanks for having me, man. May the best team win, and keep doing this stuff, man. Love it. It's good stuff. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks a lot. I'll speak to you soon, bro.